Um, yeah, as expected, a very tight, almost chess-like game. Toronto, a terrifically, well-versed team in possession. It was quite a conundrum to try and get pressure on and to make sure that we didn't expose ourselves. I thought there were more of those situations in the second period that they found just as difficult with us. But all in all, it looked like both defences were well on top. And obviously for us, creating that defining moment was was not there to be had, which was frustrating and disappointing in the end.
Here, Gary, for Toronto side, it's a little bit different. They've had a slew of draws to begin the season. It's a little bit different for them. Obviously, you guys coming back home after the Cincinnati game was important. I'm sure you guys get a positive result. To them, it felt like it was somewhat of a positive step forward. I think you alluded to it there. Do you still feel like there was something left on the field for you guys, at least as far as 3 points is concerned, or are you satisfied with how you handled, especially down the stretch?
Yeah, look, I thought there were some really encouraging moments, especially in the first period. I could probably count 4 or 5 situations that we got into, very nice, positive areas, especially in that, um, uh, counter-attacking type moment situation. A lot of energy in the group to break beyond, and the final ball was not the right one, or just an overhit pass, underhit pass, and it just seemed to me that the more we tried, the more that we just found ourselves falling short in that final third. We got in some great crossing positions, and type of cross, timing of the cross, um, putting ourselves into the right areas and then being found just didn't happen often enough. And that was not for a lack of trying, that was not for a lack of want or necessity to make something happen. We just lacked a bit of finesse in those vital moments. And that was across the board. That wasn't any one individual. Um, it was something that was repeated on numerous occasions. I must say as well, unless somebody again is going to tell me otherwise, offside for the handball. I've seen a replay of it, and I do not know how the referee or VAR are calling it offside. Maybe somebody's got a better angle than I had, but I thought I thought as well that coincided with, honestly, a very, very erratic display from the official in the middle. And that was disappointing too. It broke up the game in vital moments, especially in the first period. Jacob, it felt like needed his shirt taken off his back for anyone to really, make a decision that it was a foul or he was being impeded. And for whatever reason, there was just a real misunderstanding there of what a free kick or a foul or, you know, something that didn't look anything like good defending to me. So that was a shame too. It didn't help proceedings. Um, and on nights like tonight against a very good side, you sometimes need a lucky break as well, and we certainly didn't get that.
Joe Willis displayed out of his mind. A few key saves there, especially in the second half. What can you say?
Well, there was one in particular from Bernadeschi late on from the free kick. That was, first of all, I mean, an absolute thunderbolt of a free kick. Um, there are not too many people that strike the ball as he does. And as soon as it left his foot, I thought that even the side that Joe's, going to be defending, if you like, he's got a lot of work to do here. It was moving at such pace. And Joe still got to, have half a mind that does he work it over the wall. Um, the save of the game, and he's been in absolutely outstanding form, Joe. He's been very, very sound in all aspects of his game, and tonight he's just underlined that.
Gary, you alluded to it on the answer to Beck's question about how the team plays and creates opportunities and have better looks on first halves, especially here in the Golden Sport. You do remember the FC Cincinnati game. It seems something similar happened today. Is there an explanation to that in terms of what the team tactically is, or just the composition of the opposition in the second half?
Yeah, look, we've got two out and out wide players who have tremendous athleticism. You know, the object of having guys like that in the team and backed up by two fullbacks who have got a very good understanding of overloading those wide areas. But there's a lot of work going on in those flank areas. You know, the real want and need, certainly from a coaching standpoint, is to stretch the game out, is to offer, you know, some more avenues and pockets for the likes of Hanny and the forwards to work into, CJ Teal. To be quite frank, I didn't think we were clean enough in those areas in the first half. That was impacted by poor refereeing as well. Because if someone's fouled in and around the edge of the box when they have an opportunity or a moment to make a difference, then of course, you know, you lose that chance. So there's a lot of emphasis placed on these boys and on these guys. And there's no lack of willing or desire to try and make something happen. I think we can safely say that Toronto did a very good job of negating that space. They recovered behind the ball very quickly. I thought we did likewise to deny Bernardeschi, you know, other than from dead ball situations. I thought he did very little in the game, and he's an absolute talent. So we're going to run into different conundrums. And they've done a very good job tonight. We were unable to get away from some of that recovering defensive work. Again, did we keep the ball flowing well enough? Did we make good enough choices to maintain pressure and maybe work them over a little bit more? On the night, there were numerous situations where we could probably say, no, we didn't. But I still felt that the output from the guys, the willingness from the guys, the positive edge to how they're trying to play and what we're trying to achieve was still there. Unfortunately, we're talking about the real finer percentages of the game. And tonight, neither side could find one. And I think that goes to show that you've seen two very decent teams on display tonight, and you couldn't have put a credit card between them.
Good afternoon, evening, Gary. Malaysia Brothers, Sports. I'm wondering, as in the first half we saw Papa Pico and Jacob Schaffer has good position, and then the second half went back to what we're more used to. Was there a specific reason for that?
We'd looked at, you know, Jacob being on the right-hand side, for some encouraging signs from Fafa. It just gives me an opportunity in the group to have a slightly different look. I thought Jacob and Fafa looked very comfortable as inverted wingers. The reason for changing them was we just didn't get a bundle of joy for one reason or another, as I've just spoken to Claudio about. So I wanted to present a different problem to both fullbacks. And in the end, you know, we can say that, you know, they'll be very happy with what they were able to achieve as a defensive group, and full credit to them. You know, it's our job to try and find that breakthrough, that connection, that defining moment. And unfortunately, we were unable to do that. But, you know, it was not for a lack of trying.
For the two final questions, we're going to go to team and then team Sullivan and then Ray.
Hey Gary, you're going to accuse me of thinking I know the answer already, but I don't, I swear. But you talked a lot last year about needing to find a way to get the home results you were looking for, and especially to win over the crowd in ways that would allow you to kind of take advantage of your home ground. How do you guys feel through 4 home matches? You've progressed in
Well, I still think there's plenty of work to be done for sure. As I've said on numerous occasions here, we've not got enough out of those very gifted attacking players, and that's always going to be a challenge against sides that are as well versed and as well organised and, you know, let's not beat about the bush, as well financed as a team like Toronto are. You know, they have a wealth of quality in their group at both ends of the field. And the additions of Hedges, Rosted and Francis through the centre of that back line have paid dividends for them. There's no two ways about it. So it is a work in progress. There's definitely some better connections, some better understanding to be had, not just through the wide players and the forwards, but also through the fullbacks and the wide players. And, you know, finding those important pieces of the puzzle in that final third that make a difference. For example, there was a couple of great connections in and around the edge of the penalty area. Till did wonderfully late on, held the ball up. Shaq made a fantastic run until laid the perfect ball into the channel. And I was saying to him when he came away, do you think you could have played it first time? Because it was in such a good position with a recovering back four. From where I was sitting, it looked like a ball that was passed around the back line into that, you know, avenue of opportunity, as they say, looked the ball to be had. And he had one little touch. And that one little touch then meant he was closer to the dead ball line. It had given the defensive group a bit more of an opportunity to set themselves. Now he's got to pick a player out. And there was a lot of pace on it. I think it flew out the back of you know, the 18-yard box. And the moment was gone. So the building to that was terrific. No problems whatsoever. And we're going to have those days where it just doesn't quite come together. But all, in answering your question, I think there's more good than bad to come out of what we're trying to achieve. I do think that we're offering an awful lot of bright and purposeful play. We just haven't got the reward for that tonight.
Yeah, Gary, I know we talked about this a little bit, I guess, last week, kind of sooner after it happened, but tonight the supporters had a pretty clear display to commemorate the Covenant school shooting. I'm wondering if you noticed that during the game, kind of what you thought about it, and just reflecting back on the last week, kind of what you've made of Nashville and the community and how they've responded to that.
Yeah, I did notice. I was unsure what that period of time. I knew that it was silence between, I think, 6 and 12 minutes. Is that right? I wasn't quite sure what the the reaction to that was going to be, but obviously noticed the lights shining. And look, I think it's been an incredibly difficult week for an awful lot of people. But in saying that, I don't think any of us can even remotely understand what some of these families are going through that have lost loved ones. It's not just going to end, their sadness and grieving is not going to end in the next couple of weeks, when maybe some of us will have moved on and carried on with our lives. They're going to have to deal with that for a long, long time. And my hope is that the support that I know the club's showing, I know that our ownership group are huge supporters of this city and, of course, of situations like this. And, you know, maybe there's something that we can do as a club that somehow, some way just helps in that process.
First and foremost, with the moment of silence for the victims at the Covenant School between the 6th and the 12th minute. I'm just curious about your reaction, feeling that transition from obviously the first 5, and then of course the silence, and what that means.
Yeah, it was an important moment for the community. Obviously, you know, those lost, you know, you want to make sure that we, you know, remember them and honor them, and hopefully, you know, bring light to that situation. You know, hopefully we can, you know, act on it, do something about it so it doesn't happen again. So we're with the families, we're praying for them, and yeah, we're with them.
Does this game feel more like similar to Cincinnati's game, where you guys had a very good first half, and then things went kind of not that good in the second half again?
I just think you know, it was a game, tough game, both halves. You know, obviously, you know, they're a good team, they play well. You know, obviously, maybe we can, you know, probably fine tune in the final third a few things. But I think, you know, it was a competitive game. Both teams, you know, had our chances, but yeah, it just was 0-0.
Shaq, 2 games at home now, defensively looking solid, not allowing any goals. But how is the mood in the locker room after not being able to score 2 games in a row now at home?
Yeah, you always want to score at home. You know, obviously that's a thing that been working on. You know, you want to win. You know, with a good crowd, you want to take advantage of that. You know, obviously, you know, we haven't won the last 2 games here. You know, we work on that, and hopefully, you know, next game we can get the 3 points here.
Any more on the floor before we go to the Zoom? Tim, you got a question on Zoom?
Yeah, sorry if you get some shrieking here. I got Jack, obviously you're a defender listed next to your name, but you're a guy who's offensively skilled. Is there a point in the game where you kind of realize, okay, this is one where maybe it is a situation where we are gonna, I don't want to say settle for the draw, but you know, turn that into our primary goal is to make sure we don't concede?
You just read the game. You know, obviously you want to manage the game, different points of the game. You know, with the time on the clock as well. You know, you don't want to, you know, put all the work you put in during the game to lose it in the in the late stages. So obviously you just got to play the game. You know, be mindful and sensible, and yeah, when it comes, you just take advantage of it.